The effects of the pandemic on the movie industry, while the pandemic may for the most part being our rear view mirror. I know, tell Christian Harloff that. By the way, continue to get well, Christian. Man, I'm telling you, Christian got COVID and he was calling me a couple times. I talked to him on the phone a couple times through it. And, oh man, it knocked him on his ass.
Oh no.
Yeah, it knocked him on his ass. He sounded
didn't know
rough.
he had it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, his kid got it. One of his kids got it and it passed on to him.
That's the worst.
And I think she handled it much more like a champ than he did. It hit him. So, but he
Poor
sounded better.
guy.
I talked to him just the other day. He's sounding much better. But for the most part, the COVID pandemic is in our rearview mirror. But as we've often talked about on the show, the effects in the world of movies and the movie entertainment industry, the effects of the pandemic can still be seen and felt. And one of those things was a little while ago when we found out that the second largest movie theater chain in the world, Cineworld, which is the owner and parent company of what we in the United States know as Regal Cinemas, filed for bankruptcy. Now, for those of us who live in the LA area, the beloved ArcLight movie theater, and people in LA loved the ArcLight, it closed its doors. A number of theaters closed their doors across the country and across the world. A lot of movie theaters, the movie theater industry, it's hard to have a business when your business is people coming through your doors and nobody could come through your doors. And so a lot of theaters got shut down. And once Regal and Cineworld announced that they were filing for bankruptcy, of course you file for bankruptcy hoping to find a way out, but you never know. Well, according to a news story, Cineworld, the owner of Regal Cinemas, has now come up with a plan and made a proposal to the courts that gives them a way out of bankruptcy if approved, and gives them some financial restructuring that could make them leave them standing on much healthier legs. So here's the basic details, the important details that we get out of this. Number one, the deal, this new deal that Cineworld and Regal have been able to strike with their creditors, relieves $4.5 billion of the company's existing debt through a debt for equity swap. Now, what a debt for equity swap means, and I'm going to oversimplify it, is basically this. Let's say Chris owes me $100.
Ooh.
And
Ruh-roh.
she's unable to pay me that $100. And she says, how about this?
I wouldn't sell my feet pictures, okay? I'm a woman of integrity.
Easily raise that in feet pictures in 10 minutes. But
10.
5.
Aw.
5 minutes.
Thanks, guys.
10.
Thanks.
So,
Chris, like 10 seconds.
Do you take Apple Pay?
Do you take Apple Pay?
It's got
20%.
What, Jonathan?
I feel a lawsuit coming on.
and this
Where's
is when it
HR?
happened.
Where is it?
Welcome back.
So instead of giving me the $100, she says to me, how about this? How about, for those of you who don't know, Chris Carr runs a studio called Speak Friends, where she teaches people how to be voice actors. I'm oversimplifying that too. But so she has a company called Speak Friend. And she says to me, how about instead of me giving you $100, I give you 10% ownership of Speak Friend. So the debt gets relieved, but I get something out of it still. I get equity in her company. So there's a little bit of that. Okay. Next thing here is that through this new deal, the deal raises $2.6 billion. Let's bring this up on screen. The deal raises $2.6 billion in brand new capital through several different methods, through an equity offering to the existing shareholders and the existing people who hold equity in the company, as well as brand new debt financing, which means more debt, but they're going to get $2.6 billion that they can use to get everything back on their feet. Also, this is interesting because a lot of times when a company will come out of bankruptcy, one of the things that will happen is executives and leadership will be turned over. But apparently even the debtors don't think the management at Cineworld and Regal were the problem. So there's currently, according to the report, no shakeup in the management of Cineworld and Regal. And then finally, which is the one thing that a lot of moviegoers around the United States were worried about, a lot of people worried about the theater close to them closing down or whatever. But according to the story, that the new reorganization of finances does not call for any sale of assets. So Regal won't be doing a fire sale. Now, a couple of Regals have closed, yes, but a lot of people thought that there might be some kind of fire sale where Cineworld may sell off maybe like a third of its assets, something like that. But according to the story, None of that. Now, here's why this is important. And believe me, this is an important story if you're a movie fan. One of the main reasons this is really important is that in the United States alone, Regal has nearly 7,000 screens. I think it's like 6,800 and something screens, right? That represents the second biggest movie chain in the United States, just behind AMC theaters. As we have seen in almost every industry over the last couple of years, when one piece of the pipeline gets disrupted, it can throw everything off. Even something as simple as we saw like Apple products, a year or so ago, they were getting massively delayed. And, some of your favorite shops and stores were being short on things, but because when there's a single problem somewhere in the pipeline, it can throw the whole thing out of whack. The movie industry needs the theatrical part of the industry up and running in a healthy fashion. Because if it's not, it can bugger up a lot of stuff. And the studios have been looking very, very closely, keeping an eye very close on what's going to be happening with Regal Cinemas. Because again, representing the second biggest movie chain in the country, if that thing went belly up, it was going to cause a lot of problems for all the studios. And it was going to be a real issue. So this is pretty significant and important. And it sounds like Regal has found a way, and their parent company Cineworld, to come out of this still on their feet. Chris, I mean, we talked a lot about the whole Regal situation, Cineworld, when they did announce the whole moving into bankruptcy and Chapter 11 protections. We've heard nothing about how, when, or if they're going to come out of it. We're now getting some details. What do you think the takeaway from this is?
I mean, I kind of echo what Mookie is saying here, their CEO, that this is a big vote of confidence from their lenders to have this debt at least somewhat eradicated by 2025, 2026, because of the slate that we have coming out with movies in the next few years. It is a huge, huge vote of confidence to think that they can really put a dent in this and really, really make a difference in the money they owe, because they took a massive, massive hit. I love Regal Theaters. That's who I go to out here in the LA area. I really, really enjoyed them. So I'm really hoping that they can, get out of this, because it's just been really sad to see all these movie theaters closing. I mean, you hate to see any business, close like that. But the ArcLight in particular was one that for Angelinos,
that one hurt. It
felt so personal. And then this past week, I retweeted it. Someone posted pictures from inside the abandoned ArcLight. And it's just heartbreaking of, oh my gosh, yeah, that's the first movie theater I went to in LA when I moved here, and I went and saw Avengers, and like it's so wild to see that.
It's where Quentin Tarantino would go to watch movies.
Yeah, it's a beautiful theater. It was a beautiful theater.
But I heard Heartbreak is only in AMC.
It only feels good in an AMC.
So
That's why it felt so bad.
Nice.
It felt so bad at the ArcLight. It was just, it was true heartbreak. Well done, you son of a bitch. But I really hope that they can pull out of this. Obviously, too, there is a little bit of a feeling whenever large businesses are being bailed out, because there is part of me that thinks that's just kind of the nature of business. That's kind of how things work. And when we see these kind of financial bailouts, there is part of me that does still feel a little icky that's the nature of the beast. Businesses fail, businesses grow, that sort of thing. So I'm hoping that with this kind of new endeavor they're making with their lenders, it comes out of good business practices and not just bailout money.
I mean, the one difference, because I'm with you, but unlike a lot of other bailout situations, like this isn't the government spending taxpayer money,
this is specific
right?
lenders.
But I mean, it's also for the lenders. It's important because the lenders know if Cineworld and Regal just go belly up, they're out a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely.
And the studios and the distributors are all like, if that company goes out. So it's kind of a sense where it's in their best interests to try to make sure Regal gets back on its feet. And again, by saying it was a vote of confidence, it's an acknowledgement of like, listen, the only reason AMC theaters, let's not forget this, the only reason AMC theaters is not in bankruptcy today is because they fell ass backwards lucky into somebody creating a meme stock for them. Remember that? That took their stock, Jonathan, you'll remember this number better. Wasn't it like $2 or something? And all of a sudden it was like $60 stock?
Yeah, at its lowest it was like $1 something. It ran up to like 14, came down and went up to 72.
Yeah, I mean, through nothing that AMC did, No credit to Adam Aaron, the CEO of nothing. They did nothing right to get themselves out of that. They got lucky. And if it wasn't for that, they would have been in the exact same situation as Regal. It's hard to keep your business open when your entire business is based on people coming through your doors. Nobody can come through your doors. So here's hoping they're going to be able to make this work. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It sounds like Regal Cinemas and Cineworld have found a way to stave off the Reaper and stay alive. I certainly hope this thing works. It sounds like they've got a good plan in place. Whatever you guys think, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip the trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. And there's no worries if you're not a pro in the kitchen. HelloFresh's foolproof recipes arrive pre-portioned and easy to prepare in just a few steps. You'll be feeling like Gordon frickin' Ramsay in no time. And guys, look, we're always looking for more ways to save money. HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% cheaper than takeout. I've told you guys before, Ann and I love using HelloFresh. Not only is it really easy to put together fantastic looking and tasting meals, but it's also a lot of fun, and you get this really great sense of accomplishment when you're looking at this prepared dish that you've made with your own hands. So go to hellofresh.com/Campea50 and use the code Campea50 for 50% off, plus your first box ships free. That's hellofresh.com/Campea50 and using the promo code Campea50 for 50% off your first box ships free. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.